All right, everybody, welcome down to the assembly area. What a difference half an hour makes. Yes, it was torrential rain half an hour. Now we've got beautiful sunshine. We've also got a beautiful story down here for the CNC Head Sports Saloons. I'm here with Brian and Helen Allen, and married as well. Let's get confirmation of that, Brian. You are married to Helen, aren't you? Yeah, you are married to Brian.
I was there too, yes.
Yes, you were there too as well. Now, Helen, your role in motorsport actually goes a little bit deeper than just racing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm also chair of the British Women Racing Drivers Club that's just celebrated 60 years.
Congratulations.
The purpose of the club is to support and promote women in motorsport. We're not an organising club, don't organise our own championships, but we do have championships within the club for karting, racing, rallying and hill climbing sprint, and volunteers.
How does somebody get in touch, Helen, and find out more about this?
bwrdc.co.uk.
There you go, make sure you visit it. Now, you guys, you're actually lined up side by side on the grid. I'm not going to have to look after you guys, am I? We're going to be all right. No incidences into Redgate.
No, I don't like trying to repair two cars. That's purely and simply, no, it is not. If I'm getting in front, I'll make the arse end of that big and stop her behind me. And
you're not going to like that.
And equally, she'll do the same.
Yeah, good racing.
Good, clean racing, but I have to win.
Well, you did actually in race one, didn't you? You did finish ahead of Brian in race one.
I did.
Sorry for bringing it up, Brian. But we must say as well, you did just tell me a little story. Number 37 on the card, there's a reason for that, isn't it?
Started the year I was the age when I started. I'm now 69.
And 70.
32 years.
32 years, 70 in 2 months, and still racing. Top man. Right, I think the whistle's just gone, actually. I was better let you get in. Thanks so much for that CNC Head Sport and Saloon Championship. What a great story that is. Brian Allen, Helen Allen going toe-to-toe, and they're married here. Dave, over to you.
Yes, that's a great story, Brian and Helen Allen. Helen won her class yesterday in this championship in their first race in her Ford Fiesta. But the British Women Racing Drivers Club you mentioned there do so much to promote women in British motorsports. Helen, their chairwoman at the moment. I was honoured to attend the British Women Racing Drivers Club Awards night a couple of years ago as well. Some big names have appeared through the club, the likes of Abby Eaton and Alice Powell, some of the leading ladies of British motorsport, of course. Let's have a look at the grid then for the CNC Head Sports and Saloons. This is a very varied grid indeed, and it's an all-Saker sports car front row. This is set by the second fastest time for each driver in qualifying yesterday. Paul Rose is on pole position, the boss of JPR Motorsport, who run the Saker sports cars. His teammate Steve Harris, who won yesterday's race, starts alongside. On the second row, number 6, Simon Alloway. He's in the Lotus Esprit V8, effectively a single-seater with a Lotus Esprit body. We said this championship takes all sorts of machinery. And alongside him, Ronnie Patterson, the Scotsman, in his Caterham C400. Row 3, 46, David Clark in the third of the Sakers. That's the slightly lower capacity one. Alongside Jasvir Sapra with his BMW M3. He races in just about every championship in the UK at some point. Row 4, we've got number 27, Gary Wardle with his Cupra TCR car, alongside number 12, Chris Petch with a Ginetta G50. Row 5 is Rick Wood, the owner of CNC Heads and the long-time sponsor of this championship in the Nissan RB26 Skyline, the Calsonic car. If you played Gran Turismo, you'll be familiar with that car. Starts alongside Conor Modrow, number 7 in his Ginetta G40. Row 6 of the grid, we've got Darren Owen, Deadly Daz, as he's known, the ex-Banger racer in his Space Frame Mark 1 Escorts. Number 8, retired from yesterday's race with a flat battery, unfortunately. He starts alongside Stephen Parker in his BMW Compact, number 77. Row 7, Guy Carter, number 76 in his TVR Tuscan. Struggled in the wet conditions yesterday. Starts alongside Bod Buckby, number 96 in his Caterham. He had a class win yesterday. Row 8, we've got the overall championship leader. Extended his lead, winning Class E yesterday in his Ginetta G20. That's Ian Bamber. And alongside him is Rick Walker, number 118 in his BMW Mini John Cooper Works. Row 9 is another Space Frame Escort. That's of Tim Foxlow, another long-time short oval racer. Starts alongside Richard Hall, number 23 in his Caterham. On the 10th row, 87, David Green with his bright orange Honda Civic, alongside Tom Franklin in his now rare Renault 5 GT Turbo. Row 11 is number 30, Robert Wakelin, in his very modified Peugeot 205. It's a 2.4 litre engine in that car. He spun out of yesterday's race, so I hope he's there, starting alongside Conor Harvey, number 97, with his Caterham. Row 12 is number 98 Matt Jones with his Ford Focus, and 66 Tony Harmon in his Ginetta G20. That's the bright pink car. Row 13 is Peter Kukulas in the Toyota MR2 Roadster. We spotted that in the assembly area, so he's there. Alongside Gary Warburton in his Mini Miglia, number 149. Then we've got the Allens in row 14, Brian with the Puma and Helen with the Fiesta. On row 15, David Jones with his Mark 1 Ford Focus RS. I think he failed to start yesterday's race, so I hope he's there. Peter Gilletts was there as well with his Honda Civic Type R number 888. At the back of the grid, now hopefully we have got Andy Southcott, number 175. That's the Mod Sports MG Midget in Class A. He started at the back yesterday after problems in qualifying and had made it up to 4th place, but then the car sadly let him down again. Hopefully Andrew is there, because he will blitz through the field very quickly indeed if he is. And alongside him is Julian Wood in, well, it's down as a Kia Optima. It's only a Kia Optima in body shape. It's a silhouette racer. It's a Solution F TC12, and what that is a mid-engine touring car built for the Swedish Touring Car Championship. As we said earlier, you really do get just about everything in this CNC Heads Northwest Sports and Saloon Car Championship. Cars of very differing performance, so we will see a lot of lap traffic during these races and cars on different laps. We've got 6 classes in this championship, as we say, celebrating its 40th year this year, organised by the BARC Northwest Centre. It does most of its rounds up at Alton Park in Cheshire, but it does have a couple of away rounds. There is at Anglesey in North Wales as well. They have an away round at Cadwell Park, and they come to Donington once a year as well. There are the Sakers on the front row. They are Dutch-built sports cars. They look a bit like the old Group C races of the 1980s, don't they? But they're powered, I believe, by Subaru engines. Paul Rose, the JPR Race Motorsport team boss on pole, he pitted at the end of the green flag lap in yesterday's race to change tyres, which dropped him down the field. That start from the back. Steve Harris in the green car won yesterday. There are a few cars that we have seen earlier in the weekend that are not out. I notice the Esprit V8's missing, sadly. Simon Alloway may have had some problems with the Esprit V8. He should be on the second row. He's not there. Ronnie Patterson's Caterham is though. Cars that raced yesterday that have not appeared today. We don't have Aaron Armiger, who had a great run yesterday in his Vauxhall Tigra silhouette car. That car, the Esprit V8, just to interrupt myself, is making its way now, just late to the assembly area. That's good to see. Aaron Armiger, he had some problems in yesterday's race. The timing belt slipped on his engine, unfortunately, so in order to avoid risking engine damage, then he's elected to withdraw from today's race, unfortunately. Who else have we lost? Ralph Underwood, the Triumph TR7 V8, that's had problems in qualifying yesterday. We don't have Bob Claxton, the Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark III. He retired from yesterday's race, the plumber and heating engineer from Harrogate's. He's a non-starter. We haven't got car 35 Ray Harris either, the Ginetta G55 that was a front runner yesterday. He's withdrawn. Another car that had problems in qualifying, number 45 Oliver Thomas with his modified Subaru Impreza, is also a non-starter. And very sadly as well, a car that was certainly a bit of contender for overall wins, John Wolfett with the Spire GTR sports racing car. The car built in Chesterfield, hence Spire. Chesterfield famous for its crooked spire, of course, but it's a broken spire, unfortunately, for John Wolfett. Brake issues preventing him from racing this weekend, very sadly. We've said there are 6 classes, split into specials and saloons, and then further divided by engine capacity. Class A is being led in the championship by Paul Rose, 5 points ahead of Duncan Auckland, who's not here this weekend. Steve Harris third in the category, but he'll move up this weekend with that win yesterday. Class B is being led in the championship by Roddy Patterson, 5 points ahead of Jamie Cryer, the former 2-time overall champion with his Ginetta. But Jamie not here this weekend, as he's due to become a father rather imminently, so best wishes to Jamie and his family. Class C is being led by Bod Buckby. He increased his lead by winning the class yesterday. Class D, that's being led in the points by David Jones in the Ford Focus RS, just ahead of Oliver Thomas in the Subaru, but they both had problems yesterday. Class E, well, that's the overall championship leader on top. That's Ian Bamber with his Ginetta ahead of Stephen Parker and Peter Kukulas. And Class F is being led in the points by Andy Bicknell. He's not here this weekend. As Class F this weekend consists just of Helen and Brian Allen. Well, Ian's still down there in the pits enjoying a bit of dry weather at the moment, so let's make the most of it. Let's see who he's found to talk to.
Going on track. I thought I'd just come for a quick chat with my old mate, my old pal Ricky Walker's here. Ricky, we were having a little chat earlier, and race 1, you got bogged down at the start, but it wasn't your fault, was it?
No, racing excuses coming out, obviously, but...
Where's the manual? Where's the book? It's about 500 pages long, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Jared got stuck behind one of the caterums, so hopefully same won't happen this time. Hopefully get a better start. I've got championship leader next to me, so getting a bit of a nosebleed at this side of the top end. But yeah, should be fun. Should be good fun, actually.
Hey, it suits you being up this far, Ricky, I'm telling you. It looks good on you, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that. Yeah, thanks.
Track conditions, what are we expecting? Because up here, of course, we're at the assembly area, so it doesn't really get too much going through it. It's still quite damp, but I imagine it's a bit dry on track.
Yeah, a few people have gone for slicks. Some people have gone for inters. I think it will be a little bit greasy still. Obviously, the trucks have been out, so take it steady, see where we go. Hopefully I can pick a few off while their tyres are getting warm and then try and stay ahead of them, hopefully.
Hopefully that's what I like to. What have you made of the weekend so far, Ricky? Because Convoy in the park, there's about 1,500 show trucks in the middle. Have you had a chance to walk around and have a look?
Yeah, I went walking around for the last couple of days. It's the best weekend of the year. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like some of the machinery over there, the money involved must be incredible, to be fair. But yeah, it's good, great laugh. Everyone enjoys themselves. The live band last night. Yeah, so it was really good actually. Great weekend, love it. Best one of the year.
I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I'll let you crack on. Not too long to go now. I can guarantee we will be going racing very, very shortly. Just a quick one as well. I think if you're watching on the Bark YouTube channel, we're just under 30,000 subscribers. We just need a few more. So if you are watching on the Bark YouTube channel, please do hit subscribe. It's completely free to do, and it just make sure you don't miss any of the racing action throughout the rest of the year as well. And don't forget, of course, the Barking Mad podcast. Every 2 weeks, myself and Alan Hyde bring a host of motorsport guests into our studio. That gets released every other Friday. Make sure you have a listen. Episode 5 went live last Friday. It is on the Bark YouTube channel as well. Right, I'm going to hand back to Dave. Almost time, I promise, I really do promise. Almost about to go racing for the CNC Head Sports and Saloons Championship. Race 2 here at Donington Park. Convoy in the park. Dave, over to you.
Okay, so just a short pause here while we get final preparations ready for our second race of the weekend for the CNC Heads Sports and Saloon Cars. So we said the championship celebrating its 40th birthday this year. Started back in 1984, this championship, organised by the Northwest Centre of the BARC, the British Automobile Racing Club, as a series that cater for any special sports or modified saloon car. There are plenty of championships back in the 80s that were getting very low on numbers, so it was a way of pooling everything together, and that's what we've got here today, a championship that's a home for cars that otherwise wouldn't have anywhere to race, and you can use anything you want. Competitor Rick Wood, through his business CNC Cylinder Heads, sponsors the championship, also supported by Car Service Packs. It's a very friendly championship indeed. CNC Heads, just a bit of background on them. They build race engines, complete race cars, or anything needed on cylinder heads. As the cars make their way out, all the esprit being push-started there. Hope Simon Alloway gets going. Yes, he has. Rick Wood, you may have seen him on the TV programme Car SOS as well. Rick and his team restored a Metro 6R4 rally car on Car SOS a few months ago. And Rick Wood is a collector of historic saloon, classic saloon racers. He's racing this weekend in his Nissan Calsonic Skyline, racing in Class D. He was on the podium yesterday. Watch for flames from the back of that machine. Oh, just no Standy Southcott's there. That's good news. One of our caterums struggling there as well. I think that might be Connor Harvey needing a push start. So 1 or 2 cars struggling to get going. Is that Ralph Underwood I can see at the back? It is. Ah, the Triumph TR7's made it out. I was told initially that he'd withdrawn after problems in qualifying, so he's made it out. It's a bit fluid, this championship, as opposed to who's in and who's out, as you can tell. Proper all-comers series, this is. Caterham being pushed. It is the number 97 of Connor Harvey. The Caterham 7 comes from Swadlincote in Derbyshire. You don't have to be based in the northwest to race in this series. Okay, so the marshals are with the team there. If they can't get it going in time, he may have to start from the pit lane. Connor Harvey, racing in Class C. He's currently third in the Class C points. Looking at the results of yesterday's race, it was Steve Harris in his green Saker that took the win ahead of Rick Wood in the Skyline. They won Classes A and D. Aaron Armiger was third. He won Class B, but he's not out today, nor is Ray Harris's Ginetta, unfortunately. Class E was won by Ian Bamber. He extended his championship lead as a result. Class C was won by Bod Buckby in the blue Caterham. And Class F by Helen Allen's Fiesta. So I'll come up to the grid very shortly then. One or two cars needing those push starts, so they may be slightly out of order on the grid here. We'll just wait for everything. No, Connor Harvey's car being wheeled back. It's not going to play ball. It's not going to run, unfortunately. Up to the grid they come. They can see just the sheer variety out there. Variety is the spice of life in this championship. See the Renault 5 Turbo there of number 88. That's Tom Franklin. He said he just wanted to finish a race this weekend. He did yesterday. He finished in 14th in race 1. Where's our pole sitter gone? Don't tell me Paul Rose is going to start from the pits again. Has he chosen the wrong tyres? Well, Steve Harris is there. Simon Alloway in the Lotus Esprit V8 is there. Real old school special GT car, that one is. Roddy Patterson's there. Look out for Chris Petch in the white Ginetta. Gary Wardle as well. Ah, there's Paul Rose. He's just making his way along the exhibition straights. Watch for Andy Southcott as well. Watch for him from the back. Look at that, the beautiful MG Midget Lenham, the Mod Sports car. Competing in Class A. He won't be at the back very long. He will rip through this field like a hot knife through butter. We're just waiting for Paul Rose. Is he going to start at the pit lane? Julian Wood at the back in the Kia Optima that isn't. The mid-engined special saloon. We're just waiting to see what Paul Rose is going to do here. There's Ralph Underwood. It looks like Paul Rose is going to start from the back. There he is. Paul Rose, who promotes and runs the Fun Cup Endurance Series. There's the Saker. Now, what's he going to do? Is he starting from the back, or is he going to make his way through the grid? No, he's starting from the back. The green flag is waved, so we're ready to go. Race 2 of the weekend for the CNC Heads Sports and Saloon Car Championship. Two of our quickest runners starting from the back. The red lights are on. Steve Harris at the front along with Simon Alloway. Red lights out and away they go. Decent start by Simon Alloway. Not the best of starts for Steve Harris. Roddy Patterson comes charging through in the Caterham. He's up into second place and locks up as they go into the first corner. Alloway's got the lead. Jasper Sapper in the M3 trying to come through into fourth position. And already, look how many places Andy Southcott's made up, and he's only just got as far as Redgate. He's taken about 8 cars. Paul Rose is in there somewhere as well with the Saker. There he is. He's got ahead of Helen Allen, Julian Wood, Ralph Underwood at the back in the Triumph. It's Alloway that leads from Patterson, Harris, Sapra. That's Gary Wardle in the Cupra TCR. Daz Owens up to 6th in the Escort. He's got away well. What a sight they make as they come down towards the old hairpin. Paul Rose past the Focus RS in there. That's the number 5 of David Jones, leading the championship in Class D. It's Ian Bamber who leads the overall championship, the white Ginetta G20 in Class E, as they start to sort themselves out on this first lap. Andy Southcott's already gobbling up the midfield runners. Paul Rose not too far behind, having a go at Gary Warburton's Mini. But it's Simon Alloway, the lovely Lotus with the 5-litre V8 in the back. Steve Harris at the inside. He's going to take second place from Roddy Patterson, the man from Edinburgh, in the Caterham. And Jasper Sapra in behind his BMW M3. Probably the busiest racing driver in England. He races something every single weekend. Anything that his collection of BMWs is eligible for, the Warwickshire-based businessman. Gary Wardle behind, runs a plastics business based up in Cheshire. Previously raced a Porsche and a BMW Mini, among other things, now in that TCR touring car. Now there's Ian Bamber, the number 56, the little white Ginetta there. He's got Conor Modrow, the number 7, behind him. Then Guy Carter in his TVR. And there's Southcott. Now how many places has he gained? 15 places on the first lap alone. Out of 30 cars that started, so he's halfway up the field already. Paul Rose, meanwhile, is in 18th place from the back. Southcott takes Conor Modrow. Not only is that Mod Sports midget very quick indeed, I think he's got a Vauxhall red top engine in that car. It also weighs next to it. I think, look at the way he just blitzes past Ian Bamber. Stupidly fast little machine, that is. There's Paul Rose having a go at David Green's Honda Civic further back. And the number of different classes means we get a lot of different levels of performance, a lot of overlapping. Okay, so they start to settle in then with Simon Alloway in the lead. There's Darren Owen, runs a scrap metal business in Hensford in Staffordshire, lives very close to Hensford Hills Raceway, where he raced in the Bangers for many years. He's raced national hot rods, lightning rods, classic hot rods as well, before switching to the circuits in a couple of Ford Escorts. Conor Modrow on the tail of Ian Bamber, the championship leader, and behind them is Guy Carter, the Merseysider in his big TVR Tuscan. Many fondly remember the TVR Tuscan Challenge in the 1990s and early 2000s, the One Make series for those cars. Several of them still exist. Stephen Parker behind them there in the BMW Compact. He's been caught by Paul Rose up to 13th. Andy Southcott's got through into P7. He's ahead of this lot already. He'll be with the leaders soon. I think we've had a change of lead as well. I think Steve Harris has got the Seika past Simon Alloway. Yes, he has. Alloway is under pressure now from Roddy Patterson in the Caterham. Then it's Jasper Sapra. Gary Wardle under fire. Here comes Andy Southcott. He's passing everybody like they're standing still. But we mentioned yesterday that Mod Sports midgets, the MG Midget Lenham, is fast but fragile. It broke down when he got up to P4 yesterday. There's the leader, the green Seika of Steve Harris, looking for his second win of the weekend and looking to maybe take the points lead in Class A if he plays his cards right. Simon Alloway second in that extraordinary Lotus. It is effectively a Formula 5000 single-seater underneath that sports car body. That's an incredible machine. Rumbles its way through red gates. Then the little Caterham of Patterson is third. And then we have got Jasper Sapra, and there's Southcott behind them. He's almost caught Jasper Sapra now. We'll see Jasper Sapra, I believe, in the Kumho BMW races later on as well. Gets past Roddy Patterson. Here comes Southcott. So the BMW threw at the old hairpin up into third position. Then a gap back to Gary Wardle in the Cupra. There's Daz Owen, still there in P7. Okay, Andy Southcott's fires up the inside of his next target, Roddy Patterson, so he's up into fourth now. So Steve Harris starting to extend his lead over Simon Alloway. Here they come down the exhibition straights. Southcott leaves Jasper Sapra standing. He's of course done the fastest lap of the race. He's done a 1 minute 12.897 as he comes over the line in that third place. Just looking at the lap time so far, Southcott's fastest lap is nearly 4 seconds quicker than everyone else. That is insane. He now jets past Andy Southcott, past Simon Alloway, I should say, and he's now going for Steve Harris. There's the Seiko. It won't be long before Andy Southcott's in the lead. His next target's probably going to be one of the planes taking off from East Midlands Airport next door at this rate. Look at the class leaders in a moment when we can. Unfortunately, I can tell you Rick Wood was a non-starter, sadly, in the Nissan Skyline. He was complaining of heavily worn tyres yesterday as well, so that may be a factor for the Calsonic Skyline. Great shame we haven't seen him out in this race. But it's surely only a matter of time now before Andy Southcott takes the lead from Steve Harris. He might even do it before I finish this sentence. Here he comes, into the chicane. There he goes, and into the lead from the very back of the grid goes Southcott in the MG Midget Lenham. His best lap of the race is still nearly 4 seconds quicker than anyone else's. Here's a battle between one of the focuses of the Jones family. That's number 98. Focus of Matthew Jones from Crewe. And number 84, Peter Kukulis in the Toyota MR2. It used to be Peter's road car. He's converted it for racing. And there's Deadly Daz, as he was known in the Bangers, in his escorts. Does so much for his local raceway of Hensford, the UK's fastest short oval. Began racing classic escorts in the classic hot rod formula before switching to circuits. He's done a bit of rallycross in his time as well. And Darren Owen up there in the top 7 at the moment. His son James Owen, now an oval racer as well in various junior formulae all over the country. Here's the battle further back. David Green in the Honda chasing Rick Walker's BMW Mini. And ahead of them is Tom Franklin in that Renault 5 Turbo. Certainly running well this weekend. Runs a building company in Nottingham. Tom Franklin. Rick Walker next. They are further down the order. This is the battle for 15th place overall. There's Paul Rose. He's made it through to 7th place. He's got ahead of Daz Owen now in the Seika. In fact, he's ahead of Gary Wardle as well. So Paul Rose rising up the order nicely, having started from the back. Just the one retirement so far. Ralph Underwood sadly didn't complete the first lap in the Triumph TR7 V8. We also lost Conor Harvey, of course, before the start. The Caterham refused to fire up in the assembly area. Here's a battle between a couple of Ginettas. The G50 of Chris Pench, who normally races with the Classic Sports Car Club's various series. And behind him is Conor Modrow in the number 7, who's been in with this championship for many years now. Comes from Newbury in Berkshire. Spent 10 years racing Rotax karts before moving into car racing with this Ginetta, the G40 model. Stephen Parker gets past the number 888 Honda of Peter Gillett. Yes, the car of Conor Modrow, the Ginetta G40 with the 2-litre Zetec engine, was laid up under a cover for 5 years in Chesterfield. Its owner had bought it for his daughter to race, but she chose to take up horse riding instead, so the car was left laid up unused until Conor bought it. There's Bob Buckby with his Caterham. I think he's leading Class C. Let's have a look at the class leaders while we have a chance here. He's battling his way past Rick Walker and Tom Franklin there. Oh, we've lost Steve Harris. He's pulled into the pits, the green Seika. Saw a car pulling into the pits out of the commentary box window there, so we've lost the earlier race leader. He's got a problem. That's a shame. Anyway, class leaders. Southcott's leading Class A. New fastest lap of 1:11.9 that time through. Class B is being led by Roddy Patterson's Caterham in 3rd overall. Class C, further back down the order, it is Bob Buckby. There's Steve Harris in the pit lane. Looks like he's out of the race. Class D is being led by Jasper Sapra's BMW with no Rick Wood out there. Class E, that's being led by Ian Bamber, the championship leader, but he's only just ahead of Stephen Parker's BMW Compact. And Class F, it will be one of the Allens. It's Brian Allen leading this time. Are the husband and wife duo going to share the class wins? We're just over halfway through this race, 9.5 minutes to go. Here comes Julian Wood in the Solution F Kia clone. Behind the number 66 Ginetta, that is Tony Harmon, the pink machine. Tony Harmon, based in Chester. He's raced Clubmans for a number of years, also in rallycross and autocross. He's raced Renault 5s as well. He's got a Renault 5, of course, out in this race. There's Guy Carter with the TVR Tuscan. And the number 5 Ford Focus, that's David Jones, the points leader in Class D. One of his main rivals failing to race this week in Oliver Thomas's Subaru. That's the modified saloon car class. Jasper Sapra currently leading that in this race. Into the second half of this CNC Heads Sports and Saloon Car Championship race now. With, let's see what Andy Southcott's lead margin is. There's Helen Allen. in her Fiesta, known as George, as you can see on the number plate there. Is she catching her husband Brian for the lead in Class F? Let's have a look further down the order. Not at the moment, I don't think. There's Simon Alloway, and he's lost out now to Paul Rose. Paul Rose up to second now, so he's been quietly making his way up the order as we've been watching the other classes. So it's Southcott from Rose now, and in fact Paul Rose has just done the fastest lap, 1:11.661, so the Seika now on the attack. He's 12.5 seconds down on Andy Southcott though. There's the Seika going up through Schwantz Curve. Simon Alloway third, Ronnie Patterson fourth, and Jazz Sapra is fifth. There he is. Lapping a Caterham there. Is that Connor Harvey? Yeah, he's joined in halfway through the race, so Connor Harvey has made it out just halfway through the race. So I don't think he'll be classified, unfortunately. Now, Reader crosses the line. Yeah, Southcott, look, 3 back markers passed in one move there by Paul Rose. Now, is he catching Andy Southcott? He's met a bit of traffic on that lap, so he may not be. Rick Walker under fire from Bod Buckley. You see, it's so difficult to know where to look with so much going on in all the different classes in one of these races. The gap is 13 seconds between Southcott and Rose. I don't think he's going to catch him. Tom Franklin in the Renault 5 Turbo. Ronnie Patterson goes through to lap him. Making the long journey from Edinburgh to race here this weekend. Runs a property company in Scotland. Ford Duratec X-Power engine in his Caterham C400, fully race modified. Also races in the Scottish Mod Sports Championship based at Knockhill. There's Jazz Sapra. Runs various businesses from his base in Warwickshire. Has quite a collection of BMWs. There's Gary Wardle, the plastics businessman from Cheshire. Had a variety of cars in this series in the past. There's Andy Southcott, our race leader, runs a house building company. He's based down in the south of England, in Southampton, the 62-year-old. MG Midget with a Millington race engine powering this space frame chassis, 2.7 litres. And he is absolutely flying along. Seen him, the Southcott family have got a couple of these Mod Sports midgets. This one with the Millington engine. 1:11.424 his best lap. But Paul Rose is lapping slightly quicker. That's just done a 1:11.048 in the Seika. He's 8 seconds clear of Alloway in third place. They're all Class A cars. Ronnie Patterson's leading Class B in the Caterham. That'll extend his championship lead in that division. Sapra's leading Class D, but he hasn't raced in the series so far this year because he races in so many other championships. This is round 8 officially of the CNC Head Sports and Saloon Championship, although round 7 at Alton Park was cancelled when the heavens absolutely opened on the first lap of round 7. If you thought the rain was heavy here at Donington over the course of this weekend, you haven't seen anything compared to that Alton Park event. It was frightening. But made for some amazing photographs of the start of that race, I have to say. This little battle still going on. We've got Bod Buckley's Caterham. Tom Franklin's Renault 5, he goes through. The Builder from Nottingham. And behind them, Rick Walker's Mini. This is the battle for 15th place. Swapping places for a bit of fun. Just over 4 minutes to go now. Just behind them is another Caterham. That's the number 23, Richard Hall from Bradford. Walker at the inside. They're passing each other for fun, these three. Here's a battle further back. That's Tim Foxlow, the other space frame Escort. Tim raced for many years in a Ford Capri in the National Super Rods formula, the big V6 engine cars on the short ovals, before making a comeback in classic hot rods in an Escort, then onto the circuits. His son George is now racing as well in the Fiesta Juniors. We've lost Chris Petch, unfortunately. He was 8th, but he's pulled his Ginetta into the pits. There's Ian Bamber. He's still leading Class E. He's up to 9th overall now. Guy Carter next in the order. Julian Woods Kia is a lap down. There's Guy Carter. Gotta love a TVR Tuscan, haven't you? big, brutal V8 engine machine. Behind him is one of the Sakers, that's Paul Rose. Where's the third Saker? That's of David Clark. I don't know if he took the start, actually. I didn't see him on the grid. No, he didn't. We said things are very fluid in this championship, a bit in, out, shake it all about at times. These cars, modified cars, do tend to be fast but fragile. That Saker did suffer problems yesterday, the third of them. Rick Walker on the inside. Another overtake on Tom Franklin's Renault. Used to be whole grids of Renault 5 turbos, and he cuts back on the inside again. And Richard Hall in his Caterham says, can I join in too? They're lapping, the two leaders lapping in the 110s now. They're lapping 3 or 4 seconds a lap quicker than everybody else. Peter Gillet's Honda is lapped. And the gap is 10.1 seconds, so Rose, I don't think he's going to catch Andy Southcott. But when you consider that Rose and Southcott both started from the back row of the grid, it shows how rapidly they rose through the field. No pun intended. Bod Buckby on the inside. This fight's still going on. Now the Caterham's got ahead of the 2 saloon cars. Now the Renault makes its move into the chicane. You wouldn't believe this was only for 14th place, would you? But motorsport should be fun, and that's what they're treating it as. Here's the leader. Down into the chicane. We've got just under 90 seconds to go. We might get 2 more laps out of this because he's still lapping in the 1:10. So yes, he should get 2 more laps in. Just done a 1:12.1, so he's eased off a little. And Paul Rose just done a 1:09.8. Now the gap is down to less than 8 seconds. I don't think Paul Rose is going to catch Andy Southcott, but he is closing fast. There's Brian Allen, the Ford Puma, the yellow car. He's still leading Class F. He's 7 seconds ahead of Helen. There she is in the Fiesta. It's being lapped by that battle we've been following. There's Dazzo in with the Escort. He failed to finish yesterday because he had to have his heated screen and everything else on because of the wet conditions. It flattened his battery, so he had to retire. Simon Alloway under pressure from Ronnie Patterson in the martini-striped Caterham. Good fight going on for 3rd place. Patterson, the leader of Class B. His nearest rival is Owen. There's 20 seconds left on the clock then. Are we going to see another lap, or will it be checkered flag this time? Here's Southcott. He's got traffic ahead of him into the chicane. Rick Walker, Dazzo in, so he's lapped everybody up to 7th place now. They come across the line, then will it be a checkered flag this time? Will we get 1 more lap? No, we will get 1 more lap. And Southcott breezes his way through. Peter Koukoulas in the MR2 moves out of the way. And look, there's the Saker. The gap's down to 2.3 seconds. Southcott's last lap was a 1:15. And Rose has just done a new fastest lap of 1:09.546. This isn't over yet, as Bod Buckby goes off in the Caterham, spins down the grass at the Craner Curves very gracefully. But this race may not be over yet. We'll go and spin back into the traffic. Oh, that could have been nasty. He just got the car stopped there. Well, there's Southcott's. There's Rose. He's almost caught him, look. Can Paul Rose pull this off? Can he catch Andy Southcott? He's got Dazzo in there to get past in the Escort. Daz gives him room, lets him through. Paul Rose, he can see Andy Southcott ahead of him now. I really didn't think he was going to do it. He took nearly 6 seconds out of him on the previous lap. They're coming up towards the chicane. Gary Wardle's Cupra in between the two of them. I think he's just going to come up short, Paul Rose. Yes, he's hemmed in by backmarkers there, the Mini and the Cupra, and it's going to be a win for... And the Saker cuts through the middle there. It's going to be a win for Andy Southcott. The Modsports midget takes it. For goodness sake, says Paul Rose. I could have caught him there, but I had to get through the backmarkers. Yes, I did have to get that one in. He takes 2nd place, Paul Rose. Who's going to be 3rd? It should be Simon Alloway in the Lotus Esprit V8. Quite a way back on the top 2, of course. There's the Lotus. holding off Roddy Patterson in the Caterham. He holds him off to complete the overall podium. Patterson wins Class B. And who is going to be fifth? It should be Jasviz Sapra, and I think he'll be the last man on the lead lap. We'll check out the other class winners when we take you through the results. The other car to come in on the lead lap is going to be Jazz Sapra's BMW. There he is in the background. He's going to win Class D. Well, Paul Rose, what an effort that was in the last few laps to try and catch Andy Southcott. He got to within 1.67 seconds of the Mod Sports midgets. If it hadn't been for those couple of back markers into the chicane for the last time, he would have had a chance. But that's racing. I'll take you through the full result very shortly. We only had, I think, four retirements in that race as well, from a grid of 30 cars. Give you the provisional result then. Andy Southcott takes the win and Class A, 17 laps completed, finishing less than 2 seconds ahead of the hard-charging Paul Rose. Simon Alloway in the Lotus completes the podium, and Roddy Patterson wins Class B in 4th place. Jasper Sapra 5th takes Class C ahead of Gary Wardle. Dazzo in 7th, Ian Bamber 8th. The double winning Class E extends his overall championship lead. Guy Carter's TVR 9th, and Stephen Parker rounds out the top 10. Tim Foxlow, David Green, Thomas Franklin tops his titanic battle with Rick Walker. Richard Hall in 15th. Bod Buckby, despite that spin, takes 16th. And it was Julian Wood in the Kia Optima. David Jones and Matt Jones next in the Ford Focus RS's. And Tony Harmon, Gary Warburton, Peter Kukulas, Peter Gillett. Brian Allen wins Class F in 24th place ahead of Helen Allen. We lost Conor Modrow late on. Chris Petch and Steve Harris both pulled into the pits. Ralph Underwood was an early casualty, and Conor Harvey, of course, finishing many laps down. He joined in halfway through the race in the Caterham. Superb from the CNC Heads Northwest Sports and Saloons. Let's head down to Parc Ferme.
Right, everybody, welcome down to Parc Ferme. What a dramatic finish that was, but it is this man, Mr. Southcott, who did get the job done in the end. Pushed all the way, though, by Paul Rose. Let's let him get up, get out of the car, and come over for a quick chat, because it got quite close at the end, and close is a good word for it, wasn't it?
I didn't know it was close, to be fair. I didn't have a clue where I was.
He was closing the gap. It was just under 2 seconds in the end. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay, I didn't see him coming. I didn't see him at all, so... But I would just like to say, yes, this fragile car obviously won. And yesterday it wasn't so fragile. I just came in because my tyres were melting, so...
That's a great way to finish the weekend.
Oh, God, yeah, not half at all, yeah. And thanks to Mike Johnson, me mechanic from Northern Ireland. But yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much.
Big smile on your face. Didn't even know. I love that. Paul, let's have a quick chat. Congratulations, by the way. I was just chatting. He didn't even know you were closing the gap quite significantly at the end there.
Yeah, it's if I'd had another lap, maybe I might have got him. But other than that, there was just no way. I kept getting stuck in traffic, which didn't help matters. But I really did enjoy the race.
What's it like coming here, convoying the park? There's so many spectators around, isn't it? As you're whizzing around, you probably don't really pay too much attention to it, but can you see spectators lined everywhere?
Yeah, well, I was having a good look as I was going round, and there's trucks everywhere in there, but a lot of spectators, which is nice to see.
It is. Well done, Paul. Great to see you as well. Congratulations. Let's go over here and chat to Simon Alloway. He's still in the car. It's absolutely beautiful. Just look at this. The Esprit is real. And look how low it is as well. Simon's going to come out. We'll let him get out of the car first. In fact, let's just open the door, because I'll tell you something, what a crowd pleaser this is. A lot of people here to see Simon and the car as well. Congratulations, Simon. That was quite chaotic, and a good race you're having with Roddy there as well.
It was, yeah. I could have really done without Roddy.
I love that. I love the honesty.
Just when I wanted to kind of slow down and relax a bit, it was all over me. It was a good race, that. He kept me honest. I nearly dropped it a few times.
What are track conditions like? Bone dry now, is it?
It's, well, unless you get offline, there's a couple of times up through, is it Schwantz? I ended up nearly off on the grass a few times. But yeah, then of course Roddy will be climbing all over the back of me, so...
Now, this car is outrageously low. How on earth do you get in and out of this thing? I don't think my knees would cope.
It's practice.
Simon, that's what talking to. Right, so still a lot of action to come here at Donington Park. Up next, we have some more British truck racing action. Dave, back to you.